It's that time again.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode... This is 29, right?
Yep, 29.
We're almost to episode 30.
Woo!
That is 30
Milestone,
straight
baby.
weeks of doing this podcast.
Well, we did miss 1 week, but we don't talk about that week because we were moving you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so 29, we're at 29 weeks, almost at 30 weeks straight.
Mm-hmm.
Today, me and Derek are going to discuss our top 10 music albums and the top songs that we enjoy from those albums.
That's all fine and dandy, but you know what's great about what you just did?
What's that?
I just posted a short about our intro.
Okay.
And you didn't do the iconic intro right after I posted that.
Oh, okay. For those who don't know, who are new to the podcast, my name is Trey, along with Derek. Say hello, Derek.
Hello, Derek.
We got it.
There we go.
We
You
got
got it
it.
now. So, like Trey said, we're going to go over me and Trey's top 10 albums of all time with some honorable mentions. But before we get started on the music, I have somewhat of a music-related story that I would like to tell Trey and all of you. I don't know if I ever told you this story, Trey. It's about work.
Okay.
It was about a year after I started working at the barbecue place.
Yeah.
And I was on the truck, and that summer, we had a guy that came up to the truck like 3 or 4 times, and he always had something to complain about. Right?
You might have told me about this before, or you might have mentioned the guy before.
I might have mentioned him, but I didn't tell you the story.
Okay.
So he came like 3 or 4 times, always had something to complain about. Like
Yeah.
the only guy I've ever had to do this to me, okay?
Okay.
So the last time he shows up, my boss is like, "Hey, if he shows up after this, just don't even talk to him, don't even serve him."
He said,
just,
"Cut him off."
Yeah, basically, just tell him to leave is what he basically said. I said,
Okay.
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 But this guy shows up right before he texts me that, right?
Yeah.
And he's complaining about his brisket sandwich, right? And he's going off left and right, you know, calling me names, calling her brand names, calling
What?
her food bad, shit like that. Yeah, yes.
So he's complaining about the brisket sandwich and just like calling you guys obscenities.
Just making a fucking scene. You know
Okay.
how people are. You
Yeah.
know, a typical Ken. But this guy's like 45, bald, and 345 pounds or some shit.
Okay.
So eventually, I basically told him, like, hey, man, you know, if you don't like our food, how about you just go find a different food truck? Because this isn't going to work out if this is the 4th time you coming up here and complaining, and I try to make it right, and you just don't care.
Yeah.
And he said, fine, fuck it, I will. And you know what? Cut your fucking hair, hippie. And he walked away, right?
Okay.
And in that moment, I just stood there and just stared at the wall of the food truck. And my instant thought was, is this what happened to my dad? Because my dad grew up in the 70s and he had hair just like mine, as you see now.
Yeah.
And he always got yelled at by like his dad and people. He used to work at a grocery store when he was my age. And they always used to yell at him when he was stocking shelves that he had long hair and that he was a hippie freak.
Cut
like,
your
is this
hair,
what
you hippie freak.
Is this what my dad went through in the 70s and now I'm doing it 50 years later? This is ridiculous. This
Yeah.
is still going on. And so it made me think about it because of the music that I have on here. Well, at least one album on here that I have mentioned. It's like, damn, I'm just like my dad. This is kind of wild. It goes full circle. It's just something I thought about while I was in the shower thinking about what we're going to talk about in the episode today.
I'm sure I've had
anyways.
moments. I'm sure I've had moments where I've gone full circle with like what my dad experienced growing up. I just don't know it because I don't know. I like to think I'm close with my dad, but not like in a sense to where I can relate to those moments.
That was about the only time.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
That was about
So-
the only time.
Was this at the amphitheater?
No, this was at I'll bleep it out, but this was in.
Oh, okay.
It was just some construction dude.
Huh.
Yeah, he showed up. That was like literally his 4th time in a hard hat, but he was. I could tell he was bald under the hard hat
His
because
4th
like,
time? Were they on lunch break?
I'm gonna guess so because he always showed up at like 12:30.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying it's his 4th time in one day.
Oh no! I would have told him to get bent on like the 2nd time he showed up. Are you kidding me? I'm not dealing with someone more than 1 time a day.
Yeah.
Unless you're nice. If you're nice, you can come up as many times as you want.
Yeah,
but-
like at the, you can bleep this out too, like at the dispensary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have to bleep that out. They don't know where that's at.
Okay, fair enough.
So.
I
All
can
right,
say it
so
to where you have to bleep it out. No, I'm just kidding.
don't do that. Already got to bleep out one thing.
All right.
All right, so yeah, so me and Trey today are gonna go in the passion of music. Me and Trey are very passionate about music.
In
right,
the
Trey,
name
as
of
far as I know?
music.
In the name of music, we're gonna go over our top 10 favorite albums of all time. Considering it's springtime, albums are starting to come out. A lot of them for the summer, the hits for the summer. I raised my hands for that one. I raised the roof for it.
Hands for the
and
summer.
My favorite thing in the
dropped an
world is
emote.
I did drop it on the podcast, and my favorite thing on the planet is music. So I figured, why not have an episode dedicated to our top 10 favorite albums? So I'm gonna have Trey start. We have some honorable mentions before we get into the top 10. I'm gonna have Trey shout out some honorable mentions on his end.
Okay. Now when you say honorable mentions, do you have actual albums?
Yeah, I don't have any songs. Oh, I guess I should explain that. When we get into the top 10, we're gonna say what album it is, talk maybe one sentence about it, maybe two, and then I also have we both have 3 of our top tracks from each album in case you're interested in listening to it. These are the songs that I think people should start with.
Okay.
Right, to get into it.
So, my list it doesn't go from 1 to 10, meaning worst to best or best to worst. It's just songs that I have a story for all of them, at least almost all of them, I think, as to why I enjoy them. But anyways, for my honorable mention, it's just one album. It's not any songs, just one album in total. It is Avenged Sevenfold, Nightmare.
Wow, I haven't thought of Avenged Sevenfold in a long time.
They come up in my songs a lot, and it's always this album.
They're still making music. Did you know that?
Yeah, and you and me have talked about that before. I like Avenged Sevenfold as a band, but I don't like any of their new stuff.
Oh my god, their new stuff is horrible.
It's like they turned into Coldplay almost.
What was it? Their guitarist or their drummer that died, and they got someone new, and it just never was the same.
It was their drummer who died after making this album.
Okay, that's what I thought.
After they were done making Nightmare, it was either before or during they were making this album.
Okay. So I have a few honorable mentions here that I wanted to put in the top 10, but I just couldn't see them to fit.
Yeah.
So for one, I have In Utero by Nirvana.
Okay.
Circles by Mac Miller.
Okay.
I Want to Die in New Orleans by Suicide Boys. Oh. Hypnotize by System of a Down. And that's finally good. Some Girls by the Rolling Stones.
Which one's Hypnotize?
That's the one that has the song Hypnotize on.
No, fuck you. No, is that the one where it's is that I'm just sitting in my car waiting for my girl?
Yes.
Okay.
That is Hypnotize.
I like that song too.
Yeah, I love that whole album. I mean, it's definitely I can definitely tell you that people who listen to this podcast would not listen to that album because it's very hard. It's metal.
System of a Down. Yeah, System of a Down is very metal. It's about as metal as it could get.
It's actually considered new metal. Did you know that? Which is soft metal.
Yes, I can understand that. What is soft metal? Like Dio?
Like Slipknot. That is soft metal.
Okay, that's
like
the stuff we grew up with. I don't know how that's soft
metal. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll let you start with your. So you don't have yours listed from least favorite of all time to best?
No, not really.
Okay, so I do. So I'll let you start, and then we'll go back and forth.
Okay. Yeah, I would be sitting here all day if I was debating what should go from best to worst. All of these.
Oh, dog. I spent 5 days on this.
Yeah. I was able to do mine in an hour because I'm like, okay, I do have enough albums added to my account on Spotify where I know what I listen to a lot of. Okay.
Well,
are you ready?
Yeah. Well, just so everyone knows, you had to look at your Spotify.
Oh,
this is how old school I am. I had to look through my vinyls to see
That's
what
cool.
my favorites are.
I just don't I want vinyls. I just don't have any.
It's just another thing. I guess that's one more thing that I relate to my dad. I had to go through vinyl records to see what my favorites are.
That is full circle. That is 1970s right there.
Yeah, that's wild. All right, so hit me with your number 10.
My number 10. Oh, I have it going from 1 to 10, but I can start.
Okay, that's fine. Either way, it's fine.
Okay.
However you want to do it, and then I'll just keep going on my pace.
Okay. Number 1 is NF Therapy Session.
That's a good one. And I mean, he kind of gets clowned on now for some reason, but
so
that he was great.
I always when I'm going through my stuff on Spotify, like when I'm just listening to music or when I'm thinking about him specifically, I always think it's crazy that he'll drop a whole album and then he'll wait like 2 years for you to hear anything from him.
We have a lot of artists that we listen to
That do that.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
And I think it's because we don't listen to mainstream.
Not for the most part. I mean, I can definitely tell you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of my albums are mainstream.
Oh, okay.
7, but that's just because there's a reason it's mainstream. It's because they're really good.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. That's the thing I love about NF too is that the first time I ever heard him, so I would say it's like gatekeeping, but this was before I actually knew what the term gatekeeping meant. I found him because my friend started playing his music while we were playing GTA 5 online back in 2016, 2017, and he was listening to, I think, this album. And so I looked up this album. He was listening to a song called Grindin', or All I Do, one of the two. It's from the same album. But I was like, oh, what is that music? It sounds really cool. He was playing on his subs as we're playing GTA in his room.
So you were just on the microphone, you were just hearing...
Yeah, and he's just talking, and I could hear music in the background. So I'm like, what is that? It sounds good. And he tells me what it is. I look it up. I start listening to it. I'm like, this is good rap. I like this.
Yeah.
The top 3 songs. So obviously the album's Therapy Session. The song is the song that I have on there with it is Therapy Session. I Just Want to Know and Breathe.
All great tracks.
Breathe will put me to sleep. Like I like the song, but it will that beat puts me to sleep. Like it's so calming.
Breathe is such a slow song, and it almost makes me just want to sit in a chair and not move.
Yeah,
which
like,
I think is kind of what he was going for.
It makes you want to drive through a city at night while it's raining and there's a bunch of neon lights.
And no one else is on the street.
Yeah.
It's just you.
Yeah. But yeah, that's number 1
really
for me.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to go from 10 to 1 on mine. Number 10, I'm coming in with Catch a Fire by Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Oh my gosh. Again,
What?
You've come full circle.
You say that. Yeah, I guess I can't even argue that. You're right. You're going to say that a lot then when we get through here. But what I was going to say about it is I'm sure everyone by now has heard of Bob Marley in some way. You know, maybe not even his music, but just like merchandising aspects, like Rasta colors.
Everyone has seen his
yellow.
Rasta colored what's it called? Tapestry.
Yeah. I mean it's a religion thing. It's not like his, right? But he's the one that made it popular. Yeah, Rastafarian, that's a religion.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. See, this is why you need to watch the Bob Marley movie.
Is that Jamaican? Like, is Rastafarian Jamaican originally?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, I don't want to say something and get it wrong. I don't know if it's originally from Africa or Jamaica. I just know that those are the sectors in which Rastafarian is, practiced.
Okay.
So anyways, so my top 3 tracks on it. This was his second album that came out. This is actually what made him somewhat popular in the States. It also kind of climbed him up the ladder in Jamaica to be one of the top artists before he made Exodus, which is his best-selling album of all time. Mm-hmm. So on Catch a Fire, my top 3 are No More Trouble, which is a song about... if you guys didn't know, Jamaica was in a civil war for a while between politics with Britain. And obviously the song is about he doesn't want war in Jamaica anymore, he just wants peace. Stir It Up is kind of like a love song, more like a get-together kind of thing. And then Stop That Train is just more like a bouncy, your typical Jamaican beat, with just some fun lyrics on it. So yeah, that's my number 10. What's your number 2, Trey?
Is he from the 70s? Like, is that when...
Yeah, Catch a Fire came out in, I believe, 74.
Okay. That's crazy. And I feel like, I don't know, now I feel like you don't hear much about him.
Well, he's been dead for 40 years.
Oh, 40 years?
He died in 81.
How'd he die?
He had skin cancer.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
It came out in 1973.
He's kind of like, so when you said he was like made songs about peace and no more like violence and just roll the credits. Love.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it you made him, maybe it's just the way you described him, made him sound like the Martin Luther King of making music in his country.
In a way, he is an activist, right? Like, he's
Yeah.
trying to spread a message through music. Because, I don't know, I'm sure a lot of people know this, but I don't know if you do. Jamaica is the #1 murder capital in the world.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Well, okay, I guess that makes sense because don't a lot of Jamaicans, maybe this is stereotype, but don't a lot of Jamaicans go to New Orleans?
No, you're thinking of something else.
Am I just thinking of like French African?
Yes.
Okay.
No, so Jamaica was ruled by Britain for a long time, and during the time of Bob Marley's rise to fame, is when they had some British people still over in Jamaica trying to run the politics, and some gang leaders weren't about that, so they were making a really big civil war about it.
Okay.
And that went on for a long time.
Okay. All right. So we've had a really long discussion about that. My number 2. Okay, we're moving on to my number 2. It's another NF album. It's The Search. And this one has some honorable mentions, so it's not just 3 songs. There are
Back-to-back NF. Look at this guy.
I have 1, 2, 3. I have 6 songs that I chose because I could not just choose 3.
Okay, that's fine.
NF The Search album. Leave Me Alone. Change. I Miss the Days. Thinking. Trauma. And Nate.
Okay, I don't think I've listened. What was the second one you said?
Change.
I think it's the only one I haven't listened to.
That's a good
Maybe I
one.
should give it a listen.
That is one of his favorites from that album, or one of my favorites, obviously, from that album.
Oh, I guess that's something I can ask you since you did a back-to-back NF. Is he still doing the whole Christian thing, or is he off that now?
So, we were actually discussing that today on our way to. You'll have to bleep this out. I'm sorry. On our way. Oh no, you don't. Just kidding. On our way to Morgan's ultrasound. Because you know where I went today.
Yeah.
We were listening to NF, and we are picking up Morgan's grandma. On our way there, and Morgan's like, if you don't change the music, she's not gonna want to listen to this stuff on the radio or like this stuff on your phone. And I'm like, it's just NF, and Morgan's like, yeah, it's Christian music. He's a Christian rapper. I'm like, no, he doesn't like to be called a Christian rapper.
Not anymore.
No, he's just a rapper. But originally, yes, he was a Christian rapper. He talks about God in his music, but it's not any different from, like, I don't know, Drake talking about praying to God.
Well, when I get to my number 4, my number 3, my number 2, I got some words to say about that too. So
Okay.
we'll get there.
Now he's just a rapper. I would say he doesn't like being referred to as a Christian rapper. It's just because he doesn't like talking about guns, drugs, and alcohol in his music. Or cursing.
Gotcha. Yeah, which is fine.
In general. But,
nothing wrong with that.
But the reason I chose this as my number 2 is because NF, I don't think I said this. Oh, no, I didn't say this yet. Speaking of mainstream, when we were talking about that, so when I said gatekeeping earlier, talking about NF, when his first album to ever hit platinum was I think that was Perception, and that's another album. I don't think I put that album on here, but oh no, I did put it on. It's not number 3, but I did.
That's
put
the
it
one
on.
that has Let You Down on it that everyone knows.
Yes, that is why the album went platinum.
Forever.
And the first time I was at work when it happened, I remember I was still working at the call center, and I was in clerical, meaning I was like doing paperwork on a computer.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there, and they had the radio playing it was our local station in town, so it wasn't a mainstream radio station. They were playing "Let You Down." I almost started crying.
That's so sweet.
Because for so long he wasn't mainstream. He was, I don't know what you refer to as non-mainstream rappers. I don't know if you refer to them as underground.
It depends.
But he wasn't no SoundCloud rapper. He was on Spotify and he had a lot of listeners. But this album and that song is what made him go platinum, and that was his breakthrough. I don't know if, unfortunately, I don't know if there's ever been any other songs from him played on the radio.
I'm pretty sure that's the only one.
Yeah. But I think it's also because that song fit the agenda for pop hits.
Yeah, it's also the most poppiest sound he's ever made. Which, to be fair, I mean, after you make Let You Down and you see the success of it, and you see that every new fan pouring in, and they only want to listen to Let You Down and they want more of that, and you want to make your own music, I would also be like, no, fuck that. I'm going to make my own music.
And that's
another
another reason why I like him, is because he does his own type of music. And
yeah, he doesn't want to sink into the, okay, I'll just make this song over and over and over again.
Yeah. He's done a lot of collaborations. Like, I think he did a song with Tech-9 once.
Tech-9, Hobson, some other people.
So again, he's doing his own thing, but he's up there.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, moving on to yours.
Okay, so my number 9, I'm hoping I'm gonna pronounce this right. I've never been able to in my life, but I love this album so much. Meteora, I believe is how it is pronounced, by Linkin Park.
Okay.
It was their second mainstream publicized album. A lot of people know it for Breaking the Habit, stuff like that. You know, things you hear on the radio all the time for, like, you go to your hard rock, quote-unquote, radio stations, and you'll hear this album at least once a day.
Huh.
Numb. You know Numb.
I do
It's
know
a
Numb.
fucking meme song. But my 3 favorites from it is Lying From You, Hit the Floor, and Nobody's Listening.
Okay.
Which are great tracks.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever heard of them. I probably have. I just didn't know that's what they were. But like you said, I'm sure I've heard them on the radio at some point.
I'm sure you've heard Numb, and I'm sure you've heard Breaking the Habit before.
The song, I actually have a funny story about Linkin Park. The song, what's it called? Is it I try so hard to get so far, but in the end, is that what the song's called? In the end? Okay. So when I was in 7th grade, my group of buddies who were a grade above me, I met them through riding the school bus when I was in 4th grade.
Yep.
Fast forward to 7th grade, they signed me up to be in their group for the talent show.
Okay.
But this wasn't really a talent show. For us, this wasn't a talent. It was more of an act. We practiced every day after lunch.
So cute.
I'm just going to tell you what the thing is. I'll get there in a second, what the actual act was. But, you know how at the time people were making those, like, stick figure epic battles on clip notes on the DS?
Oh, yeah. That was a very popular thing.
We kind of did something like that, but it was with us.
What, like in real life?
Yeah. So what happened
Wild.
was... Huh?
So that's wild.
Yeah, so it was I'm not gonna lie to you, the talent show and the act we put on was fucked.
Well, dude, you were like 12. It's gonna be cringe regardless.
I wanted to leave school that day so bad.
I can't tell you the countless amount of times where I felt that way because of something cringy happening.
You're just like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I want to
go home.
So we couldn't get the audio to work over the speakers in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So we just had someone's phone sitting in a cup playing In the End in a room full of like 300 people. I can't tell if you're laughing.
I am. I'm
okay.
laughing very hard.
So the act was, there was a mat, there was a foam mat, you know, like the ones that you do sit-ups on when you're practicing for that in school. One guy was standing on that, and there was just a line of a bunch of us. It was like 15 of us, but one dude was standing on the mat, and all we did is basically charged at him, and he had different ways to like throw us over him, jump over him. It was like we were being stuntmen, and he was the main character.
My lord.
So In the End's just playing, and he's just like throwing us over him, under him.
This guy just wanted to make an anime music video with you in real life, is what it sounds like.
It was something, and it's just, and so I can only imagine what the people in the back of the gym heard. Just In the End.
Yeah, they're just hearing it.
Yeah, it was so quiet and it was so bad. All the teachers were just sitting there watching, nodding their heads, and I'm like, I was one of the guys who just charged at him and got thrown over his shoulder, and then we just laid there.
I mean, that's still cool.
And that
At
was
least you guys tried something. You know, you guys didn't do the talent show. You actually did something to be in it, which is good.
I guess.
So is it Is it your turn now? Or is it mine?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Number 3, Josh A. Fearless 2.
Ooh, I actually had that on here, but I took it off for what is mine when I go next. That is what replaced it.
Okay. The songs Long Way to Go, which is the intro,
Mm-hmm.
Smile, and Warfare.
Smile's a great one, and Warfare's a great. Warfare made me cry the first like 5 times I've ever heard it.
That song goes so hard, and then I love when rappers or just anyone in general makes a song, and it sounds like two different songs. I love that.
It's starting to become a real trend.
Yeah.
Within music, which is kind of cool.
Well, Yumi talked about the Black Keys the other day. If you guys don't know, Black Keys made a new album just 2 weeks ago. And one of the tracks is Paper Crown. And that song, it has one vibe at the beginning, slows all the way down, and goes to a completely different vibe.
It goes from blues rock to dance club hip hop, which is wild.
It does. It sounds like something you'd play at a roller rink.
Well, I mean, it's a bowling album, so I mean, you're almost right.
That's true. I didn't know if that was the actual thing.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
All right, my number 8 is Led Zeppelin 3 by Led Zeppelin. Who would have thought? Right?
Oh.
Led Zeppelin is my favorite band of all time. I have their swan song Icarus tattoo on me. I started listening to Led Zeppelin when I was probably in diapers, maybe even less than that, like in the womb, religiously, because my father, it's his favorite band of all time as well. And so my top
That's
3
cute.
tracks from Led Zeppelin 3, did you say cute?
Yeah.
Well, when we get to so far it's been rock. When we get to a different genre, I'll tell a story about why these are up here. But
Okay.
my 3 favorite tracks from Led Zeppelin 3 are Bron Yar Stomp, which is that's how it's spelled. It's just about getting high in a park and hanging out with your friends. Hats Off to Roy Harper, which is 3 different blues songs mashed into one blues rock song that's all made by Roy Harper. And then That's the Way is a more or less acoustic sit down, chill out, and think about how your life's progressed throughout where you're at now. And it's very just a relaxing thing to listen to while you're sitting on a porch somewhere on a nice sunny day with some wind flowing through your hair. It's
So
very,
like today.
very chilling. Yeah, yes, today was the perfect day. That's why I put it on my story, actually.
I'll have to listen to that album or those songs
Oh, dude, they're great.
because I don't mind Led Zeppelin. I like Led Zeppelin.
They make you move your feet when you're sitting down, like I just did, and the camera just shook.
You and me have talked about this before, but obviously it's because of the era our parents grew up in. I basically grew up on classic rock,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously I'd count Led Zeppelin as classic rock, or just you could even say just classic.
Well, classic would mean like ragtime. I don't think they count as ragtime.
What the hell's ragtime?
Like piano in the 1920s.
Oh no. I mean like
No, classic rock is Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, shit like that.
yeah. Okay. Are we ready for mine?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5 is I Am Jake Hill. I know it. Okay, so if you guys don't know who that is on
Wait,
Spotify,
you should
that
be
is
at number 4.
Oh, you're so right. I skipped
You're
ahead.
right.
Number 4. Sorry, my bad. We'll get there, folks. We'll get there. Number 4 is... Hang on, let me see something here. Okay. Number 4 is Josh A. Again, Lonely Vibes.
That is also a good one.
The top 3 songs that I had on this one were Bad Dreams, California, and Addiction.
All great tracks.
I
should probably... Sorry, I was going to say, I should probably prefacize for everyone. Josh A., actually, we used a clip from his album for the Christmas episode.
Oh, wait, I didn't know that.
It is... Yeah, remember I used the Little Revive Christmas intro?
Oh, yes, I remember now. Okay.
So, for those who don't know who Josh A. is, because he's in the main scheme of things compared to like, fucking Drake or Taylor Swift, he is a underground rapper, quote unquote. I just think he's a musician, not a rapper, but he makes great albums. He talks about anxiety and how to deal with it and trauma from his past and shit. He's very good at making beats, and then he's even better at telling stories on top of them.
Yeah.
Very, very good for only having, 4 million monthly listeners?
And, yeah, and I still think that's good. I want to be there at some point.
Oh, no, it's great, but he's definitely underrated.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So go give him a listen, please. If you like rap, that is. Okay, so for my number 7 in my top 10 list.
Number 7?
It's funny that you were talking about indie. Well, for you to be number 4, for me to be number 7.
Oh, okay. Jesus. Okay.
So it's funny you were talking about In the End earlier. Number 7 is Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park, which has In the End on it.
Oh, okay.
So this one has 4 tracks. All my other ones have 3. This one has 4 tracks because number 4 is Emily's Special Request, Paper Cuts, which is the intro song to the album. Not one of my favorites, but she said I had to put it on there, so hello, Emily. You got your Paper Cuts on there. So my 3 are With You, A Place for My Head, and By Myself.
I think I've heard A Place for My Head.
I think we've listened to it together once or twice.
Maybe. It's possible.
And in that order, the With You, A Place for My Head, and By Myself, those go from least hard rock to most hard rock. With You or By Myself goes nuts. It goes really hard for no reason. So there's Trey's number 5 coming up before you.
Okay.
Where's your number 5, Trey?
Yep. Okay, so this is the one I almost skipped ahead to. Sorry, you guys just heard it. I think you might have heard my phone vibrate. You might have not. I don't know. Someone just texted me. Anyways.
Sorry, people. Sorry.
It is I Am Jake Hill, Autumn Gloom.
I Am Jake Hill, for everyone who knows, is basically just Josh A. He just makes harder music than Josh.
But, Jake, if you ever hear this, I'm sure he won't, but if he ever does, Josh A, I feel like, is better at the consistency and dedication than Jake.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
But given Jake has also been through a lot.
Agreed.
Recently,
yes.
I won't get into that though. We don't have to talk about. We don't have to talk about.
We'll be here for 3 hours.
Yeah. Autumn Gloom. So, Watch Me Wither, Million, and obviously the song Autumn Gloom.
Great. Those are all 3 great tracks from that album. You're doing really well so far.
When
even though these are all your personal opinion, I'm still gonna say you're doing great.
I have a funny story about when this album came out too. When this album first came out, I was working at Pizza Hut, and I was a delivery driver. I played this album on repeat probably more than half of my shift. All the time. I just loved the album so much, and I don't know. The album was perfectly done by Jake, and when the song came out, it definitely gave you that I don't know, fall vibe.
Well, I hope so. It's called Autumn Gloom.
Well, yeah, I know, but that it worked. He did it perfectly, and around the time that album came out, that was also the time I went to Derek's, like a week after that album came out, and Derek, that is the first time I partaked in Mary Jane activities.
Yeah, that's a great album to listen to before you partake in that activity.
I probably listened to it on the drive over, so.
So my number 6, and I want you guys to all come together. I want you to guess what all the next 6 albums have in common. If you don't know them, obviously you won't, so I'll just tell you when I get to number 1. But if you can guess what all 6 of these have in common, good job. You understand music. So number 6 is The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. It follows the story of a cancer patient who was on his deathbed, and basically a ghost or spirit comes to his bedside and basically tells him that he has been a horrible person and that he will not rest in peace. And so in that album, he tries to justify his wrongdoings, and within that, the spirit or ghost or whatever you want to call him understands that he himself also was like that and lets him go rest his life forever in a nice place.
Oh.
So for these top 3 songs is I Don't Love You, Mama, and Sleep.
Okay.
All right, Trey, hit me with your
Unfortunately, the only song I ever heard from My Chemical Romance, I've heard more than just this one, I'm sure, but it's Cancer.
Cancer's on this album.
Yeah, I assumed, and or at least I figured, and I like that song by obviously My Chemical Romance, but I also love 21 Pilots' version of that song too.
Thank you for saying that, because I was going to say, if you listen to the Black Parade, if you're interested in at what I just told you about the story of it, if you listen to it on Spotify or Apple, I don't know if Apple Music has playlists, I'm sure they do, but make a playlist of the album, and when you get to Cancer, cut out My Chemical Romance's version and put in 21 Pilots' version. You'll thank me later, I promise.
Just gives off the better.
It is so much better. It is so much more emotional.
Oh yeah. No, the first time I ever heard Cancer, before you obviously tried turning it into a meme when we were at vocational school.
I don't want to talk about it.
No, the first time I ever heard Cancer by 21 Pilots, it was it's emotional, very emotional.
The audio, the engineering on that is nuts too.
Yeah,
it goes so hard for no reason.
All right, my number. You're gonna laugh, but I think you might agree.
Okay.
My number 6 is Lil Dicky, Peanut.
That is one of your top albums of all time.
Yeah.
Dude, if we were a popular podcast and people heard you say that, they would clown on you so hard.
They'd go, "What?"
They go, "What the fuck is this shit?"
But hang on now. I do have a reason to justify this.
Okay.
This man has not released an album since, I think, 2015.
That would be right.
And now that he has dropped an album, this music has been music that has been being made since 2017.
And just so everyone knows, I can attest to this. Trey listens to this album a lot.
How do you know
a
that?
lot. Every time I'm with you, you listen to at least 2 to 3 tracks on it.
But anyways, the story that I have to justify it is, he hasn't released an album in a long time, but when he did, he really made 3 seasons of a show just teasing us with the music that he's gonna put out.
Yeah.
And then the time finally came when it was January of this year, he dropped this album. The top 3 songs, We Good, Harrison Avenue, and Hearsay. Hearsay is more of a freestyle. Harrison Ave is a story about him finding love, essentially, but it's he's basically saying everything that a 12 or 11-year-old boy would be thinking when they meet their crush for the first time. And We Good is about him. And this, I think, as far as I know, this is a true story. If you guys don't know, Lil Dicky actually does have a hype man, and in the show, the same hype man who is his real life hype man was his best friend in the show, and his name's Gata.
He really has a hype man?
Yes.
That is wild.
But his hype man eventually wanted to start making music himself as well.
It's crazy.
And the song We Good is about them. They went through a breakthrough for a while, but this song is about them finally coming together and making music together, being best friends. And if you don't know, both of their actual names is Dave.
They're both named Dave?
Yes.
That's funny shit.
Yeah. And but yeah, they had a breakthrough. They make music together. At first, when Gata was like, "I want to branch off and do my own thing," Lil Dicky was like jealous and like, "Damn, you're gonna really like."
So you don't mean a breakthrough. You mean a breakup.
A breakup, yes.
Yeah.
A breakup, just like had a falling out. That's what I was looking for, a falling out.
There you go.
And Lil Dicky felt betrayed by Gata wanting to make his own music. So when they both finally came to their senses, forgave each other, and made this track together. And on the show, it is very emotional too, because it's like Gata has been waiting for this moment for so long. Because episodes leading up to this, he had severe depression and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, that's it for me.
I gotcha. I'll hit you with my number 5. My number 5 is Vessel by 21 Pilots. Great album. Got me through some pretty hard times in high school after I found out who 21 Pilots were. I won't go into it. Basically, 21 Pilots is very near and dear to my heart, and as much as I love all their music, I can only fit one album on the list, and this is the one I went with. And I'm sure if you listen to this album and you have any sort of depression, anxiety, social anxiety, or past depression that still haunts you today, it'll definitely help you understand what you're going through or how to cope with it. So my top 3 are Truce, Screen, and Car Radio, which I'm sure
Oh,
a lot of people have heard Car Radio.
yeah, I'm one of them.
It's
I'm
a
guilty
very,
of
very
that.
popular one. Yeah. Great track. All great tracks. But yeah, Vessel is my number 5.
Okay.
So Trey, what is your number? It'd be your number 6, right?
So Lil Dicky was my number 6.
Okay, so number 7.
Yep, my number 7 is another NF. Perception.
Nice.
We got Dreams, we got Destiny, and we got Outcast.
I'm so glad you didn't put Let You Down on there.
No. Like, okay, so first when this album first came out, before it was on the radio, I was like, yeah, that's a good song. I like this song. I like the album.
Mm-hmm.
And then the song came out on the radio, and the song got overplayed, as most mainstream songs on the pop radio and Billboard Top 100 charts do. They get overplayed. So I was like, yeah, I'm not. I like the song, but I already hear it enough. So then I put these 3 songs on here.
Good.
I don't really have to explain much about this album. Earlier, like I said, this was his breakthrough album. This is when he finally, he made it. So yeah.
I will say, if you guys have not heard of NF and you want to listen to NF, may I suggest, this is just a suggestion, that you listen to the intro tracks of each album before you listen to the rest of his music. I think the intro story and then listening to the rest of it is a great way to start.
And I'll look something up for you, because there's actually a lyric from one of his songs that I think about so often. Okay, so the song is Thinking, like I said earlier, from his, which album did I say? From his The Search album. There's a line here that I think about so often. I'll read it to you. Yeah, I wish that I was optimistic. I wish that I could trust my intuition. To most, negative thinking makes you a pessimist, but to me, negative thinking means I'm just realistic.
That is a very hard line.
That's because
That
my
goes
whole life I'm always told that I'm such a negative thinker. Like, I can't always think so negative, but for me, and even just growing up, I've been, maybe it was the way that I raised, I don't think it was, but it's also just because I always tell everyone I'm a naturally unlucky guy.
Mm.
And I'm sure a lot of other people think the same way, but I'm telling you, like, it's different for me, I swear to God. The most unlucky thing you could think of, like, happening, just realistically unlucky thing happening, it will happen to me. It has happened to me, but people have always told me I'm a negative thinker, and I always reply to them before the song came out. I shit you not. I would always tell them, no, I'm just realistic.
And
I look at everything realistically.
Oh my God!
Yeah, this song went out. That song came out. I'm like, ah! He gets it.
He understands me.
And I think that's what makes a good album and a good musician, if they make music that you can relate to.
If it would take too much time, because I have to edit this tonight, because your boy Derek works tomorrow, which is usually the time that the episode comes out, so I have to edit it tonight instead of in the morning. Mm-hmm. If we had more time, I would have Trey take a picture of the NF poster I painted for him for his birthday.
I can see it from here.
Oh, it's in your room?
Yeah, it's up here with me.
Well, maybe I'll have you take a picture of it, and I'll put it up there every time you talk about NF.
Oh, okay.
All right, so my top. This is my top 4, and this is where Derek starts to pop off. He starts to get bouncy with it. Starts to get in that dancing mood. And he also starts getting his feels. Number 4. What?
I think I know what it's gonna be, but go ahead.
Number 4?
Yeah.
Take a guess.
Is it Mac Miller?
No.
Oh, okay, keep going.
Number 4 is "Damn" by Kendrick Lamar.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Kendrick Lamar, just so everyone is aware and knows, in case someone sees this at a later date, Kendrick Lamar is my favorite musical artist of all time.
And I did know that. I did know this.
As Led Zeppelin's my favorite band, Kendrick Lamar is my favorite artist. He doesn't make all of his beats himself, but he is an engineer, a writer, a director for his albums. He does a lot, and the way that he can tell a story in a musical form is beyond anything I've ever heard before. And the first time I ever heard anything out of Kendrick Lamar, I instantly fell in love, because when I was younger, I was only allowed to listen to classic rock. I was not allowed to listen to rap, hip-hop, R&B, stuff like that. My dad wouldn't have it. He said, "No, Derek, that's not for you. You listen to classic rock, and that is it." And I would say, "Oh, okay." Like this Rolling Stones hoodie I'm wearing, it's actually his.
Oh. How old is that?
What?
How old is that hoodie?
This hoodie is from 1985.
Holy shit. What?
Yeah. I don't have a shirt underneath, or else I would take it off and show you the tag, but it's from 1985.
Still holding up okay?
It's got some wear on it. Other than that, yeah, it's
okay, all right.
pretty good. It's keeping me hot. I'm fucking sweating.
Okay.
But yeah, no. First time I ever heard Kendrick Lamar, I fucking fell in love. And then in 2017, on Good Friday of all days, he drops a Damn. And I first heard that, and I went, holy shit, this is amazing. This just made my spring, summer, fall, and winter. Like, this man just rocked my world with Damn.
Holy
dude.
shit, this is amazing.
And the reason I like Damn so much, and it's in my number 4, is Damn is a story. It's actually 2 stories, depending on how you listen to it. So if you listen to it from beginning to end, how it's listed, it's one story, and I don't want to give it away. And then if you listen to it from the last track to the first track, it's a completely different story, and I don't want to give it away because it's such a good story. But yeah, it's 2 stories in one, even though it's only the same 14 songs. So my top 3 are XXX, which is most commonly known as now as USA, featuring U2, Fear, and then Pride. Pride is one of my probably favorite rap songs. But it's not even really rap, but it's considered hip-hop. So it's probably one of my favorites. So
well, you and me have talked about this, but we've also made a meme about it. I like XXX too. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, XXX is great. It is a great song. Okay. So hit me with your number. What is your number 8 now?
Yep, number 8.
Okay.
This might be a surprise to you.
Okay.
Maybe not though. This number 8 for me is Tech-9, The Storm.
That is a classic. Holy shit.
Top 3 songs are Godspeed, Sriracha, and Get Off Me.
I say classic, but most people probably don't even know who Tech-9 is. Tech-9 is probably, it's the funniest thing to say, but he is the most popular underground rapper in the world.
Oh yeah.
Which is crazy that he's underground, because he's had like, I think 2 songs on the radio.
Oh, I've never heard the song. I've never heard any of his songs on the radio.
What's that one song called? It's something about the. Hold on. Something about the hood. Hood Go Crazy. Hood Go Crazy
that song was on the radio?
Yeah, Hood Go Crazy was on the radio, and then another one was on the radio, and I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, so he's still considered underground for some reason. I don't know how he's not mainstream.
Well, he makes a lot of music, and I think that's why he calls his brand Strange Music. Mm-hmm. Because he makes a lot of songs. Whenever he puts some songs out about this specific topic, it's always about how record labels don't want him.
Well, he also used to run around with a red fucking afro wig. And
yeah,
shit,
I don't know if I can say this. I don't know if I can say it on YouTube. But he's considered what ICP was considered.
Oh, yeah, you can say that.
Oh.
Just because they're a gang doesn't mean you can't say it. Yeah, he's considered a juggalo.
Juggalo, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, was. I don't know if he is now.
I don't know if he ever actually was.
Well,
but
I say that,
he dressed like it.
He wore the mask at the concert we went to, didn't he?
Yeah, he wore masks, face paint, shit like that, yeah. He also wore leather gloves and shit.
Yeah.
Either way, he puts on a great show. Just so everyone knows.
Yeah, he has what's the word? He has he has good stage flamboyancy.
Yeah. He knows how to entertain a crowd.
Yeah. Like, he was yelling at us because at the concert, everyone else was smoking so much weed, it was getting him high.
And he was happy about it. He was like, Jesus Christ. What is this place?
This album was an album that I fell into my lap when I was in my Trey Angry Boy era.
Trey Angry Boy era. When did that album come out?
2016.
Did it?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
This is when I started discovering rap, like a lot of rap.
Gotcha.
And of all paths to go, this is the path I went down to get me into like more deep down a rap music hole.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, this album was an album that I listened to a lot when I was always pissed off, and I was also going through. I'm not going to name any names, obviously, but I was going through a rough breakup at the time.
Oh, the old high school breakup rage.
Yeah.
I miss the rage.
Miss the rage.
Wow. Yeah, it's that one song by Trippie Redd or whatever.
Oh.
So that one everyone quotes when everyone says rage.
Oh, I do not ever quote that.
No, but a lot of people do.
Oh, okay.
It's
All
a
right.
TikTok song now. Number 3 for me. No surprise after what I just said. Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar.
I knew that was coming.
I'm sure you did know that was coming. It is, well, obviously it's in my top album of all time list, but it is an album that no matter how many times I listen to it from beginning to end, and it is just a journey every single time. It follows the story of Kendrick when he was 16 years old in 2004, explaining what was going on in his life during his time in Compton when he was a teenager, basically.
I was gonna say, is he from L.A.?
He's originally from Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And then his parents, and you'll actually learn that on Damn if you listen to Damn. He was originally from Chicago, but at a very, very young age, he was moved to Compton.
Gotcha.
So Good Kid, Mad City. So the top 3 tracks on here is the opening track, which is Shireen, a.k.a. Master Splinter's daughter. Real, and then The Art of Peer Pressure. The Art of Peer Pressure is... Oh, boy.
Is that the one you made me listen to with that crazy sample?
No, you're talking about the Powerpuff Girls sample?
Oh, yeah.
That's Backseat Freestyle.
Is that on that album?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it's on that album or To Pimp a Butterfly.
That's actually the song right before Art of Peer Pressure.
Okay.
So yeah, if you listen to Good Kid, Mad City and you listen to Backseat Freestyle, fun fact, the record scratch you hear on the back is not a record scratch. It is a sample from a Powerpuff Girls episode that I found the other day, and I thought it was the most fascinating shit I'd ever heard of in my life. That you could take a cartoon and make it into a record
Who
scratch.
thinks of that shit?
Yeah, whoever samples songs, whoever produced the Backseat Freestyle beat, thank you. It's a great beat. And I need to understand your process on how to make music, because it is nuts. It is it is astonishing.
It's outer worldly.
Yeah.
All right. My number 9. Now, we're getting close to the end here. My number 9 is Tech 9 Enter Fear.
That is also... Hold on. Which one is this? I need to look it up.
This one came out.
That's the newer one, right?
No, I haven't listened to a lot of Tech 9 since this album. This album
newer, I'm meaning like in the last 5 years, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This one came out in 2020, I think.
Yeah. Producer was Travis O'Gewen. Sorry if I got your name wrong, Travis.
Top 3 songs: Succeed, which is just the intro, part 2. On the Outside, you could probably you might be able to assume what that song is about. And Leave It on the Floor, part 1 and part 2, but part 2 is called Fonk. I don't know why.
Is that the one about him being in a dance group?
I don't think so. Can you elaborate?
There's like a part in a song on that album where he's talking about how him and his friends used to practice their dance moves because he used to be in a dance group, and then something happens and they end up at a house party or some shit.
Oh yeah. No, okay. So that's the thing I was going to talk about.
Okay.
On those 2 songs, it's basically one song, but it's 2 songs. It's about them going to a house party. And then
okay.
Another rapper who's featured on this song is Mercules. If you guys don't know who that is, he's also very good. Or at least some of his music. I don't listen to a lot of his music, but he's good on this song.
Are you sure it's not Mercules?
Maybe it might be Mercury.
I'm pretty sure it's
Mercules. I don't know. I always pronounce it as that. But he shows up at this party in the song, and it's supposed to be some other gang banger guy who's looking for Tech-9. He's asking for people to give him all their belongings, and they get in a car chase and crash. And yeah, it's a good song. It's very good storytelling.
Just so you know, and this is something I would never have guessed. Mercules is 31 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He is from Canada,
Mm-hmm.
and he is on the Death Row Records label.
What's that?
That is like the record label that Tupac and Snoop Dogg and shit were on.
Oh, that's cool.
I would have never guessed this man would be on Death Row. That is fucking crazy.
What's Hobson a part of?
He's on his own now.
Is he on his own?
He used to be a part of fuck, what was it? Hold on.
I also love his samples. His samples
Funk.
are nuts.
He used to be on Funk Volume.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar.
Maybe that's what he is now. He used to be on one record label, and then he dropped him and went to someone else.
Okay.
Yeah. So all right. So number 2 for me, we're getting into some heavy hitters for Derek by getting into. We already have been, but this is like where Derek starts to get very personal with it.
Mm-hmm.
To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar is my number 2. To Pimp a Butterfly, I don't think you've listened to that one, have you?
I've listened to bits and pieces with you, even by myself, but I think I've listened to bits and pieces with you as well.
Gotcha. So To Pimp a Butterfly, if you're going to check it out after I tell you, also include the album Untitled Unmastered. It is a green cover. It is all of the tracks that didn't make it to the cut, but were good enough to be put out on their own. If you listen to them together, it's very beautiful. To Pimp a Butterfly is basically Kendrick realizing that he's become very famous after Good Kid, Mad City, and is getting used by record labels and other people in his life, and doesn't know what to do with it. He also feels like he's not being very good to his family and friends. So essentially he goes through this long journey with himself through God and life to try to get back to his roots and become him again, essentially. So my top tracks on here is Complexion, a Zulu Love, Hood Politics, which I'm pretty sure me and you've listened to Hood Politics before because it has my favorite line of all time in it, which is Obama say what it do. Have you ever seen that clip?
I think, yeah, you might have showed me.
No, I'm saying like Obama actually saying what it do.
Oh, no.
Yeah, like I think it was 2015 or 2014. Obama, I can't remember exactly how I said it, so I'm gonna paraphrase. But what I remember, I think him saying is, "And to my fellow African Americans, what it do," which was the coolest thing I think a president's ever said.
That's funny.
And then my top track from To Pimp a Butterfly is the opening track, which is Wesley's Theory, which is about comparing himself to Wesley Snipes and his tax fraud allegations.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Trey, hit me with your final one.
Real quick, I just want to go back a little bit.
Not a problem.
I want to hear a song with Tom McDonald and Donald Trump saying something.
Could you imagine Donald Trump busting a fat rhyme on a Tom McDonald?
Either just a fat rhyme or doing something like what you just said.
Donald Trump say what it do.
I want even if I just hear even if I just hear an audio clip real quick in the pause, like in the middle of a song, and just go $7 billion fucking dollars in the bank.
Oh, and just so you guys know, if you do listen to Pimp a Butterfly, do not go in with it thinking it's a regular rap album, because it is anything but. It is jazz rap, and if you don't like jazz, you're not gonna like it.
Which song have I listened to that's in that album? Which song is which album is King Kunta from?
To Pimp a Butterfly.
Okay, I thought so. All right.
I'm sure everyone's, if you're in the rap space at all, you know what King Kunta is at least. It's everywhere.
All right. Number 10. You haven't heard him yet on here, but that's because I had to decide which one I like the most. Number 10 is Suicide Boys, Sing Me a Lullaby, My Sweet Temptation.
That is a great choice out of all of their albums.
Yeah. That was a tough one.
That's a great choice.
Top 3 songs, Matt Black.
Yes, sir.
Materialism as a Means to an End. and Eulogy.
Damn, I really thought 1,000 Blunts was gonna be on there.
That's a good one. That was a tough one.
I thought you were
could be
gonna
an
make your
honorable
boy
mention.
Derek proud.
That could be an honorable mention.
I'll take it. Derek's pick on that album is 1,000 Blunts. Great one.
Just real quick. I know we're getting real close here. I first discovered Suicide Boys when I was working at Pizza Hut. Once again, I was working at Pizza Hut, and I went outside, and one of the line cooks was having a smoke break, and he was sitting on one of the generators outside, just having a smoke break. But he was playing music on his phone. He was sitting there scrolling through it, and I'm walking back inside after delivery, and I'm like, "Damn, what is that you're listening to?" And he was listening to, I think, Phantom Menace from "I Just Want to Die in New Orleans."
What a great track.
That's what he was listening to. I'm like, "What is that? I need to listen to that." So I get in my car next delivery, and I'm sure as shit I'm hooked on Suicide Boys instantly.
Yep, that is so. You say you're working at Pizza Hut at the time.
Yeah.
That is so ironic because a line in that song is I walk into pizza, clock in and out. That is the funniest shit I've ever heard you say.
Wait, he walks into what?
He says, they say, I walk in the pizza kitchen, I clock in and out.
Oh. Jesus.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, okay. So my number one, my favorite album of all time, and nothing will ever top it, is The Wall by Pink Floyd.
There it is.
I'm sure Trey was expecting that.
Yeah.
So funny story before I tell you about The Wall. One summer, we all went to Six Flags together. It was me, Emily, you.
One of my favorite stories.
Who else was in the car with us?
It was
someone
you,
else.
me, obviously. You, me,
Emily,
Logan.
Logan.
I think that was
that's
it.
who Emily was there.
Well, okay, yeah. I thought I said Emily already. Okay, my bad. Emily, you, me, and Logan.
Okay. So we ended up eating at a Golden Corral afterwards, which is my worst. I hate Golden Corral. Is if you
We were all
no.
it's because it was like 100 degrees outside,
and we were dead.
It was a
so
hot.
dead.
Was it July or August? I don't even remember what time of year it was.
I'm pretty sure it was August because we went for Emily's birthday.
Oh, okay, so it was
pretty
before
sure.
school started back up. It was a whole thing where I had to meet at Emily's house at like 6 o'clock in the morning if we wanted to make the drive, and then
Yeah, it's like a 2.5 hour from where
Yeah,
we live. So anyways, so we get out of Golden Corral, and I'm on the highway out of Chicago going back to home, and everyone passed out in like the first 15 minutes, and I'm the one driving. So son of a bitch. All right, everyone's asleep. What do I listen to? So I'm scrolling through my phone, which I shouldn't have been doing. Do not do this. I was scrolling through my phone on the highway, thinking of an album to listen to, and I was like, why don't I stick to my tried and true? So I popped on The Wall, and I started it from beginning to end, which I believe The Wall is an hour and a half long. Hold on. Oh, wow. I spelled that so wrong.
I really hope in the audio you can't hear Dory or whoever's going to the bathroom in the litter box.
You could hear it the last time.
Oh, damn it.
It's
They
fine.
always do this shit.
It's just a cat. People gotta understand that. It is an hour and 20 minutes. Okay.
The drive?
No, the album.
Oh,
So I was like,
Jesus,
okay.
forgot,
So I was like,
yeah.
I was like, okay, this will take up most of my drive because people will be sleeping for
I
this
forgot
long.
the album was like a movie, like you said.
It was made into a movie, actually. And I have it.
I'll
Here
put
we
it in
go
my
again.
perspective when you're done. When you're done telling us.
Here we go again, full circle. I have a Betamax. I don't even know if people know what Betamax is. I have a Betamax copy of Pink Floyd's The Wall on my bookshelf in my bedroom. I don't have a Betamax player. I've never seen one in my life. But I'll tell you what, I have that movie on Betamax. So anyways, so I'm listening to the album, and it's actually funny because it's one of my top tracks on here. The track is Anybody Out There.
Oh, yeah.
And so for context, the album is about a man who goes insane, sitting in a hotel room, and he starts thinking of this dystopian world where there's a wall built up around his environment that he's in with these Big Brother government cameras spying on him at all times, and people are out to get him, and the world's going crazy and shit. So eventually it gets to a point where he's in this hotel room, and and he's looking out the window, and it's just him saying, "Is there anybody out there?" And there's just these like calls of eerie screams coming back and forth with these drippings coming from the ceiling, like water and shit. So anyways, that's playing this very haunting fucking track. And I look in the rearview mirror, and here's Trey with his eyes half open, like, the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'll set the scene for you when you watch the camera. I was like, so I'm past. So because of how sweaty we were from this hot summer day and being at a water park / amusement park, our shoes, my shorts were soaked while we were eating dinner. And then, like an hour into this drive, I finally wake up from my nap in the back seat to his bass blaring, "Is there anybody out there?" And what probably woke me up was the 16th time that he said it. And I'm like, all right, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, after he says this, what?
Yeah, that's probably what woke me up. And I'm like,
these fucking tricklings coming on.
yeah, I'm like looking around and I'm kind of like, Derek, what is this? Is this Pink Floyd?
And I was like, yeah, man. He's like, I'll have to listen to this later. And then I think did you end up listening to the whole album or no?
Yeah, I listened to the whole album at some point after that time.
That's so good. The Wall actually, funnily enough, because it's a rock album, it spawned my favorite genre of horror movies, which is psychological.
Yeah.
Because it's not on my top tracks because it's like the last 10 seconds of a track. There's a part in a track where he's sitting in the hotel room and he keeps hearing people knock on the hotel room door, and it's everyone he's met in the album so far, and they just keep repeating the lines that they kept saying to him throughout the album, and it just keeps going over and over and over again, and they're overwriting each other, and he's just like, mind's just melting. And I love it. I love when things make you go insane or shows you how people go insane. I think that shit's amazing.
I can't remember. Have you seen the movie Smile?
I have not.
Okay. We'll have to show you that sometime. Because that's kind of a psychological horror.
Like, for instance, you saying that just reminded me, for instance, The Wall made me watch Shutter Island.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Shutter Island is one of my favorite horror movies because it's a man who went insane.
Yeah. And
he thinks he's someone that he's not.
Is it the track from the Wall album where it's how's it go? Is it the psychopath is on the grass?
Nope, that's
Is that Dark Side of the Moon?
That's Dark Side of the Moon. That's Brain Damage.
Okay.
Which is another great psychological track.
The reason I ask is because of that. I remember you and me discussing that track, and for some reason it says the murder, or what, is it the murderer or psychopath?
The lunatic.
Oh, yes, yeah, okay. The lunatic is on the grass, and then you just hear someone go.
Which, funny story. I don't think I've ever told you this.
Was it their manager?
Yes, that is okay. I have. That is their manager. They were in a meeting.
Yeah.
And Sid, who is now sadly he was deceased way before The Wall came out, because he actually went insane, which is what The Wall's inspired by, which was their old main lead. He made their manager laugh, and they liked his laugh so much that they made him record it.
Yeah, it's because. I remember you telling me it's because when he laughed, they were like, okay, what was that? Why'd you laugh like that?
Yeah, because he laughs like a fucking insane person. Like
they recorded it and used it.
It's the most ungenuine laugh that's genuine, and that's what makes it scary.
Yeah.
All right, so does that mean we're done?
That's all I had.
Wow. All right. What a great time we had on Break Time with Derry and Trey. We got to talk about something that we were very passionate about, and we hoped you liked it, and we hope that you check out some of these albums that we talked about.
Yes, please do.
Please do.
If you guys need a break from that mainstream stuff, check any of this out.
If you
I know
need a
Derek
break,
said, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Keep going.
I know Derek said most of his stuff was mainstream, but even now I wouldn't say it is. I mean, it's still played on the radio, but a lot of people don't know about what he's listening to or what I'm listening to. But my stuff could be more discoverable than his, just because of how classic and old some of the stuff he's listening to is. But that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. See, my stuff is is old and classic, and your stuff is very, I wouldn't say niche, but it's new enough that people our age would find it and like it a lot. And it's also more relatable.
And it's like you said earlier, a lot of the stuff I've named, though, it's all underrated.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
very-
yours is too, but a lot of the stuff, like you said earlier, prime example.
Well, as many people know now, Kendrick Lamar is the modern king of fucking hip hop, and he's definitely made that very well aware in his newest diss. So yeah, if you need a break from Taylor Swift's The Tortured Poets Department, which just came out, or Drake's albums or stuff like that, please be sure to check out some of our top 10 albums. We really appreciate you stopping by. We also really appreciate you but watching the shorts. We really, really do appreciate that. And you can catch us on Spotify and YouTube, and we will see you guys next week. We didn't talk about Fallout this week since it's already an hour and 12 minutes, so we'll do a double header next week. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll talk about Fallout 2 and 3, episodes 2 and 3 next week. We hope you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you next Saturday. Goodbye, everyone.
Alrighty. Bye, everyone.